My name is Nathan, and welcome to my shrimp room. Hello and welcome back. This is going to be my January 2018 update. I'm going to try to do these once a month. There are quite a few new things going on in here. I'm working on some hydroponics. I've changed a few things around on a lot of my tanks. And I'm going to go ahead and go through each one of my tanks and what my plan is for it. My Crystal Ridge shrimp tank I've been struggling with the last 2 or 3 weeks probably. But the good news is I'm finally starting to see my juvenile shrimp make a comeback. And the buried females are starting to increase. So I want to say things are back to normal. But I really can't say that quite yet. I did add an Airstone just to give it a little more oxygen in here. I think the males are actually doing their happy dance right now. And I am also seeing baby shrimp again. There was a new batch just released probably a couple days ago. But yeah, this tank is doing really good. I think these guys breed a little bit too fast. I think down the road I would really like to get these guys a 75 gallon and just see how many I can breed, because right now I'm thinking that this tank is getting close to its max. Well, at least it is for me. I don't know if, I mean, people probably breed 1,000 shrimp in a 33 gallon, but for me I don't feel comfortable getting past probably around 400 or 500. Now this tank is directly underneath my Crystal Reds, and it's my 15 gallon mixed Caridina tank. And with this tank, I'm doing kind of a few different things. There are some Black King Kongs in here. There's wine reds. There's one black panda. And most of these crystal black looking shrimp, some of them are crystal blacks, but they're actually called tang tai. And what tang tai are, they're tangerine tigers mixed with Taiwan bees. Now a Taiwan bee is a wine red, a Black King Kong, a panda, or those type of shrimp. Now what I'm doing here though is I'm waiting for these guys to get big enough to determine whether they're male or female, and I'm pulling the females out and I'm putting them back with Taiwan bees so I can get the patterns like fishbone and galaxy and stuff like that. And I also want to add one more kind of shrimp to this tank, which is a Aura Blue. Now this tank had a pretty bad outbreak of the blue-green cyanobacteria algae. And this happened to this tank before when I first set it up about 8 months ago. And when I moved it, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the nutrients there was too many nutrients in the tank. I can't quite pinpoint why it starts. I just let it run its course. It overran the tank. It killed off a lot of my plants. But now it's starting to subside and I can put it back to normal. I cranked the CO2 back up. I had to shut off for about a week until I got rid of this cyanobacteria because it was just covering the plants and killing them. But the good thing about CO2 is that these plants will bounce back. This is not the first time that I've had to deal with this green cyano. Now underneath my 75 I have 3 10-gallon tanks. And this one is my Black Rose / Carbon Really tank. And I did this because my Black Rose were struggling a little bit, so I decided to mix them with my Carbon Really in hopes to get some Black Rose babies. And the great news is, so I'm not sure if you can see those babies right here, but I see 3 of them. And they're really dark already. So I can only imagine that these are going to be Black Rose. So that's pretty awesome. I'll be moving those guys to my 36-gallon boat fund over there once they get a little bit bigger. Now in the middle of the 10-gallon tanks is another mixed Caridina tank. This one has some Tang Tai Crystal Reds and they're already starting to have babies, but I'm going to start putting these females back in with the Taiwan bees. Now, I think I seen about, oh, there's a, looks like a panda, and there's a wine red. So they have had at least one batch of babies in here. I need to get them back in with some Taiwan bees though, and that's sort of what I'm doing at the moment. And I'll show you what tanks that all of these females are going in just a little bit. And this last one here for the 10 gallons is going to be the future coal tank for all of my Neo Caridinas. Right now I think I accidentally got a Bloody Mary in there. I'll pull that one back out. But I think the 5 gallon that I have my coals in just isn't quite big enough. I really want to get them into this 10. These two tanks on top are both 33 gallons. The same as the Crystal Red Shrimp tank. And over in this one we have my Bloody Marys. And these guys are breeding machines. There's probably 3 or 4 or 5 new batches of babies in here in the last couple of weeks. And they are just doing outstanding. These are a Neo Caridina, and they are the same species as cherry shrimp. They are just a little darker red. Well, I don't want to say a little, they're a lot darker. Love these guys. And in this 33 gallon are my carbon relay. And these guys are always doing good too. I haven't had a problem with these guys in a long time. They do need to be cold a little bit. I'm noticing that, like her in front here, she has no dark on her head, so she's not really a really pattern. She probably needs to be cold. And that's the thing with some of these kinds of shrimp, is that they do need to be cold, otherwise you will start getting some pretty dull patterns. And I'll show you what that looks like in the coal tank towards the end of this video. And over here on the side is my 20 gallon long, and it has my wine reds in it, and it looks like one stray carbon relay that I've got to get out of there. And my goal is to move some of those Tang Tai females into this tank and breed them back with these Taiwan bees, because they're originally bred with wine reds. And so I'm hoping to get some really neat patterns out of when I mix them back with these Taiwan bees. I want to say there's probably about 20 to 25 wine reds in here. I've been pulling them out of the 15 gallon, and they're doing pretty good. No deaths. These two down here are 25 gallon tanks, and this one houses my cherry shrimp, and this one has the darker colored Tang Tai, and it's going to be the pandas when I get some more babies out of the 15 gallon and the 10 gallon. It's the same concept as this one, except for I want to get the dark colored Black King Kongs and stuff like that, whereas this one's going to be the wine reds and the red patterns. I guess that's the end goal. I'm new to all this, so I'm not really for sure exactly what I'm going to get out of these two. I'm hoping for the best. I'll kind of go ahead and show you what is in there now. There are some patterns coming out. There is a couple of pandas in there, and the Tang Tais are starting to berry up. And I guess the next generation is going to be where I see whether or not I was successful or if I failed horribly. And there's the one cherry shrimp that I just can't seem to take out of there. Oh my goodness, there's a reel. I got to get him out of there now. Otherwise they're probably going to breed together. And then over here are my cherries. And these guys are always doing pretty good too. I've had this colony for going on 8 years now. And this colony is a little bit not as big as the other ones because I sell these locally to local hobbyists and to my local fish store. It's kind of the only ones that I sell around locally. Some people do like some carbon relays. I'm trying to get the hobby to pick back up here. Now this area over here was originally built so I could fill it full of shrimp tanks. But after I built my garden, and somebody had mentioned to me that I should really look into hydroponics. And after I did some research on it and realized that I have all of this shrimp waste and fish waste that I keep dumping down the sink or the toilet, why not use it to try to grow some plants? And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm starting some seedlings in rock wool. Some of the lettuce is starting to come up. The spinach is taking a little bit longer. There's one tiny little sprout coming up. And I'm going to take most of these and I'm going to build a hydroponic system down here. I'm not quite for sure the exact build I'm going to use, but this is probably going to get tore out of here. I'll just put that dirt in my garden. It's no big deal. And that's the goal with this area now. I'm going to take... I want to get some styrofoam crates like this. I had this one sitting around for probably 4 or 5 years now, and I just was like, you know, I want to use it for something. I just wasn't for sure what. And now this seems like it's the perfect opportunity to put the rock wool in here, fill it full of clay pellets, and then fill the rest of this up with water, and then, you know, start from here. And if these work out, I'll probably just get a bunch of these styrofoam crates and line them up along here, or I'll just get like a big tub. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do it. I just basically started researching about hydroponics a couple of weeks ago. And I also wanted to show you guys this is my 5-gallon Neo tank. And I wanted to show you what it looks like when you mix them back together. You notice how it's kind of a brown right here on that one and this one here? It's kind of what they revert back to when you mix them back together. And I will leave you guys with my coal tank. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to subscribe, and I also started Instagram, and I'm going to leave my Instagram link below if you guys want to follow me there. That'd be great. Have a good day, and cheers.